You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org. Orlando Food Sales is a third-generation food importing company, highly specialized in the importation and distribution of the best flour, tomatoes, oil, buffalo mozzarella, and vegetables in oil from Italy. Orlando Foods' reach is felt across the USA, working with food service distributors and restaurateurs to supply and educate on the best that Italy has to offer. By choosing to work with fewer products of higher quality, like Caputo flour, Ciao tomatoes, Old Italia oils, Torre Lupara Bufala mozzarella, Orlando Foods concentrates on importing products which complement each other, thereby remaining experts and delivering the greatest possible value. Started in 1948, Orlando Foods is committed to upholding traditions of Italian cuisine and improving food quality in the USA. Learn more at orlandofoods.com. I'm Peter Reinhardt. Welcome to Pizza Quest. We're here at the International Pizza Expo in Las Vegas, where we've been holding court for the last few days, talking to some really, really interesting people, including today's guest, Daniele Uditi, who is master pizza maker, the padrone of Pizzana in LA and beyond, probably now, right?
Well, hi everybody. First of all,
thank you so
much
for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. Pizzana. We are expanding quite a bit. The location was in Silver Lake, and people over there have been loving it. We have a cocktail over there now, so people have been asking if we have any cocktail program. It's been curated by my good friend Dagny Mendelson. She's amazing, and people seems to love it. The cocktail pizza go good together, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So that's your second location?
That's actually my fourth in Los Angeles and fifth overall in the U.S.
Fifth. Okay. Where else in the U.S.?
We have a location that opened up last November in Dallas on Knox Street.
No kidding, Dallas, huh?
Yeah. And another one coming to Marina del Rey pretty soon, and Houston too.
Marina del Rey in the
California,
LA area.
and
that's exciting. That's going to be very exciting because my partners in the Pizza Quest site that we do in our shows, they live down in Manhattan Beach, and they'll just jump right over to where you are.
Hopefully, that will be our best neighbor.
And I'll let you know when they're coming because they're excited. In fact, and they're looking forward to seeing you also at the upcoming pizza festival, the LA Pizza Festival. You're going to be doing something panel there, right?
Yeah, my good friend Steve Dolinsky organized with Noel Broner.
Yes.
Noel Broner is a master of dough.
I love Noel. Noel's featured in the Pizza Quest book.
I know. I have the book, Peter.
Oh, I'm so excited to know that. Wow, I'm honored.
Noel is just amazing.
And Steve Dolinsky is going to be coming in, and we're going to be interviewing him later today.
He's wandering around with his camera.
He's scheduled for 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, we're doing a panel on his Pizza Fest Los Angeles. Of course, my spot's going to have a booth where you can taste the creation.
Okay.
We're going to have for sure the cacio e pepe pizza, which is my signature one. And I'm going to create something new just for the Pizza Fest. But also we're featured on a panel with Evan Funky, and I don't remember the other two. Sorry, guys. I have a very short memory.
I understand.
But
believe me, at these events, all our members.
I know it's called Dough Whisperers.
Dough Whisperers.
Yes. So
that's funny because we just had a panel here called Tinkering with Your Dough.
There you go.
I got a few Dough Whisperers for that panel, and now I'd love to be at yours. I won't be able to be at LA, but my partners will be. They've already got their passes, so I'll make sure that they get over to that presentation.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I want to talk, for those who are not in the LA area and don't know about it, we want to hear a little bit more about that. And of course, on another show, we'll have Steve Dolinsky kind of spell it out in more strokes. But before we do, I want to find out more about your pizza, your style, your a little bit of your background for those who don't know, or haven't seen you on TV on Master of Dough, which is a fun show to watch on Hulu if you haven't seen it yet.
Well, if you guys have time, there is a show on Hulu. It's called Best in Dough.
Best in Dough, yes.
Best in Dough, and it's a take on a Best in Show.
Best in Show,
right?
and it's a great pun.
And it's a pizza for everybody. To me, pizza is something that at least once in a lifetime everybody try to make. Is the easiest food to approach, right? So that's why the show was created. I wanted to see everybody makes pizza, from barbecue pizza master, mom and daughter, pizza champions, and
That's right.
so you can learn something too on a show.
I love
So-
the one with the grandmas.
Oh my God, the grandma episode was the hit show.
I think that was the first opening episode of the whole series. I think.
Yeah, the Nonna Lina wanted to slap me. You know, she's from Naples. She's from my town, so
Oh,
we,
no
we
kidding.
spoke dialect all day long. And they hired a translator. At the end of the day, I was translating for the translator because it's a different language from Italian.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, about my dough. What I do basically, I'm from Naples.
Naples,
I was
okay.
born in Naples, but I grew up in Caserta, close to Naples. And I had the luck to be born in a family where we breed cooking. My mom was a chef, my grandpa was a pastry chef on cruise ships, and my auntie is a baker, like she's a bread maker.
So it's all in the
So
blood.
I woke up at 9 years old. I woke up in the morning, 4 a.m. Everybody was mixing dough by hand in the madia and the wooden bin.
Yeah.
And you know, as a kid, it's like, what the hell is all this noise? So I went to check it out, and everybody is playing with this sticky stuff, the dough.
The
right?
dough,
Oh
yeah.
my God, that sounds fun. I want to play with the sticky stuff. And
Of
then
course.
it became my job. So basically, what I am, my background is a bread maker. So, and I happened to become a pizzaiolo because who doesn't love pizza?
Right.
So with leftovers of my auntie dough, I used to flatten it up and use the same temperature that the bread cooks,
Yes.
so lower than Neapolitan pizza, and just make this beautiful tray of pizza. And that inspired me to open up Pizzana in Los Angeles. So I wanted something that resembled where I come from. So it's a round pie,
Yes.
but it's baked longer for 3-4 minutes.
That's I want to talk about that because that is becoming more and more popular, especially when sort of the Neapolitan pizza craze happened the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Everybody's open wood-fired, 800, 900 degree oven pizzas. And Americans didn't quite go for it because it was they
Soft,
don't,
and it was chewy,
yeah,
soupy.
you couldn't hold a slice straight out.
Yeah.
But the pizzerias that did go with the Neapolitan-ish style of pizza, but they could get more crisp in it and have slices that you could actually hold in the hand. They seem to be working, and it sounds like that's kind of more the direction you're going in.
10 years ago, we were the first one in Los Angeles doing that kind of style. I call it more of a baker style, but everybody calls it Neo-Neapolitan because it's a new Neapolitan.
Yeah.
But what it is basically is a baker style pizza. It's a high hydration dough. It goes over 75%, and it's cooked at lower temperature longer. And the dough is more flaky, it's more sturdier, and you can play a lot with ingredients because you can put actually extra ingredient on it, and
Yes.
it will hold it because it has a structure.
So you bake it at approximately
Well,
600
it's
or so?
660, 650.
And for about 4 minutes?
For 3 to 4 minutes, far away from the flame. I use like the report of the flame to
I think
just
this
kiss
is
the dough.
this is the way I think more and more people are going to go because it kind of hits the sweet spot, especially for the American palate. But I think it's going to be international. That people want that snap.
Well, my
And-
philosophy was this: like, don't get me wrong, I love Neapolitan pizza. I was born, I was
Naples, yeah.
born in Naples. I mean, I grew up eating Neapolitan pizza, but I always liked a little bit more texture in the pizza, right? So to me, cooking a piece of dough that weighs almost 300 grams in 800, 900 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of difficult because it's 300. It's almost half a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Imagine you have to cook half a loaf of bread at that high temperature for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So mostly it's not going to be cooked. To me, it's a little bit raw. But there is an old way to make Neapolitan pizza, which is stretched very thinly, that actually cooks in 60 seconds. So it's called a ruota di carro. You know, the one that is not the one with big crust, the
Yeah.
one that is more flat.
spread out. Yeah.
So that one might cook a little bit longer, but because everything is flattened up, like pita. Pita is cooked at that high temperature because it has to puff up.
It's got exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and my route was to go of a piece of dough that weighs between 250 to 300. So, okay, let's take time to bake it, develop some structure, some gluten structure, and have some toppings held the right way on it.
Yeah, and so, so what you're describing, this Neapolitan style that, again, the term's been around for a while, but I think it's taking its own cachet now. Is it similar to what Nancy Silverton does at like Mozza, Pizzeria Mozza, where her pizzas take about 4.5 to 5 minutes to bake? I think, and they're in wood, in a brick oven, wood-fired ovens, but they look Neapolitan, but they're Neapolitan-ish in that sense.
I mean, what Nancy was doing, she wanted to create her own style.
Her own
And
style.
honestly, I have as a pizza chef, when I came in the U.S. 13 years ago, there was no Neapolitan pizza around in
Right.
Los Angeles. So the closest thing was Pizzeria Mozza. They was using fresh ingredients, little adventurous combination. So in a way, she opened up a little bit the door for other pizza chefs to just start to play with ingredients and the farmers market and all these new flavor that were coming up. So I think my humble opinion, what Nancy does is her own style of pizza.
You can't even put it in a category.
I don't think, because Neapolitan usually has a little bit of the leopard spot, and hers
Yes.
hers is just cooked very evenly. The
Yeah,
dough
it's
is
a very
fermented.
mature dough.
It's
Yeah.
a very fermented in a certain way. And actually, her pizza was one of the first pizza I had in the U.S.
I see,
and,
yeah.
I loved it, honestly. She was doing a great thing. And I know, I heard her on a panel that we were together a long time ago when Jonathan Gold was still alive.
Yes.
That she saved some of the comments of the first time that she opened up the pizza place, and it was like everybody was criticizing her about not being Neapolitan.
Yeah.
But she wasn't trying to be
No.
Neapolitan pizza. She was trying to create her own style, and
She's
you have
so
to respect
creative
that.
that she,
You have to
she's-
respect that.
We had her on way at the beginning, when Pizza Quest launched over 10 years ago. We had video with her, and she said, "I just wanted to make the kind of pizza that I wanted to eat."
Yeah. To me, cooking in general is expressing yourself. If you have to contain yourself on one style, or I think it's putting a limit on yourself. Like, if now I like this style of pizza, but then I might learn something new and I might want to explore something else, right? So I might integrate what I learned in the style of pizza that I do right now. And pizza is constantly evolving. Even Neapolitan pizza before was a rota di carro, was stretched a
Yeah.
lot, and now there is pizza napoletana contemporanea, which is this big crust dough with
puffy, yeah.
a lot of gluten development in the crust.
Yeah.
I think you should not put a label on what you want to do. You should just explore and enjoy yourself by making pizza, because pizza should bring people together, should not separate them.
So at Pisana, is that, am I saying it right? Pisana, yours is not. It's not going to be like Nancy's, but it's not going to be Neapolitan. It's Neapolitan. So it's going to be.
You wanna call it
a little
Neo-Neapolitan?
but it's basically it's going to be a crisper. It's going to look like in a Neapolitan style, but with a crisper crust.
Yeah, it's basically a dough that is made from a recipe of my auntie bread that is called pane cafone.
Pane cafone.
Pane cafone. Pane cafone was this bread that you can find in salumeria in the delis in Italy. And instead of using it shaping as a loaf of bread, I shape it as a loaf of pizza, and I make pizza out of it. So you have this beautiful flakiness, and the crust is a little crispier, it's
Yeah.
sturdier. So that's basically all I do.
I can't wait to. I haven't been to LA since before the pandemic, so I'm looking forward to getting back out
You have
there.
one more reason to
I
come
have
now.
another reason to come for sure. Yeah, and I can't wait. So congratulations on the success of
Oh, thank
Design
you.
F Sounds. I mean, it's growing and it's expanding. So let me ask you about the challenges of that, because you can't be in all of the places at the same time. How do you control the quality?
Yeah, I try to be God, but I don't think it's gonna work for me. No.
Everyone tries at one time in their life.
No, listen. It's like cooking. It's maintain the quality when you expand. It's all related to people, finding the right people. If you have people that love this job as much as I do and don't come just for the paycheck,
Yeah.
you're gonna have an easier way. I got lucky because before opening up Pizzana, I had a catering company. So for 3 to 4 years.
Okay. So you have people.
So I had a lot of people already trained for what I was doing. So expanding was a little bit on the easiest side for me, because in each location I have one of those guys that used to work for me.
Yeah.
And still, we make the dough by hand. There's no machine involved. We make every piece
Really?
of dough by hand.
You don't use a mixer.
That's the way. That's the only way I learned from my grandma. From my auntie.
Yeah.
And even my grandpa used to make baba or rum, the dough,
Yes.
by hand. So that's the only way I learned how to touch the
And
dough.
so you teach your people how to do it the same way that you
Yeah.
learned.
The reason, and I know there is a machine that can help you out now. But if I had to go back and use a machine, I didn't know. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I would
Yeah.
have to study and control temperature. For me, baking pizza and baking bread is, of course, a science. You need to learn everything, but it's also gut feeling. I've been
Yes.
doing it for so long,
Yes.
then you can understand what's going on by touching your dough, right? And you can know anything. Like we use a starter, it's called crescito, right? It's basically sourdough with salt in it,
With some salt in it.
with some salt in it. It's good to control pH sourdough.
And do you keep feeding that to keep it alive?
We keep
like
it alive.
like a regular starter.
Yeah, we keep it alive. The only reason why we use salt is because we don't want the pH to develop that much. So the sourness.
So it's not sour.
It's
but
not super sour.
yeah.
You actually can taste the sweetness of the grain, and that's a personal.
That's a good technique. Yeah, so it gives it the complexity without the sourness.
There you go. Because a lot of people might be turned away from the sourness.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not like a huge sour flavor friend, but I love a good sourdough.
But is that starter your only means of fermentation, or do you actually add yeast also?
No, we don't
No
add
yeast,
yeast.
just the starter.
Just the
It's
starter.
all the wild yeast, the natural yeast.
That piece of dough that was made by my auntie has now 66 years, and I know, trust me, a lot of people say, "Oh, my starter has 100 years." It doesn't matter that much,
Yes.
because the flavor development, you throw away more than 70%
Yeah.
to refresh it every
Yeah,
day, right?
yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you start from a week or if you start from 100 years. But I like to say, it's 66 years
Yeah.
old. He's older than
Good
me.
marketing. The old people love that.
No, but you know what? It's a piece of my family. It's
Yeah.
like I'm referring him as a human being.
Yes.
And even though he's 66 years old, sometimes he acts like he's 5 years old. Because you can know all the science in the world, and then one morning you will see him more active, more
Yeah,
playful.
yeah.
And then one morning it's like he's more sleepy, and then you need to react on how your starter is reacting.
Because it's a living, breathing thing, and you.
Yeah.
But I know some people who meet that same description of being cranky one day and active and.
That's why you can know all the science in the world, but then if you're not a good dad, you're
Yeah.
not, or a good mother,
Yeah.
you're not gonna understand your starter.
Right,
because,
right.
It's
So
a
that's
more gut
interesting. So
feeling.
that's really part of the signature of the restaurant is that you're working with only a natural starter.
Mm-hmm.
You're making it fresh by hand every day. The dough is made by hand every day.
Yeah, it's fermented. It's a combination of room temperature and control temperature for 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yes.
So you have to always be working a day ahead too. Then an extra day. ahead.
We worked 2 days and a half ahead.
What kind of flour do you use?
We use a couple of local flour too, and I do a mix with flour is come from the farmers market. It's the Achapi project from Weiser Farm.
Wow.
family.
So it's domestic. It's American flour. It's not
yeah,
Italian flour.
some mixes of Italian and some mixes from local
I see.
American flour.
So you're blending. You're making a blend.
Yeah, because in the last 10 years, there's been so much progress from farmers in the U.S.
Yeah.
that if you guys go ahead, go outside and meet those beautiful people that are farming every day and taking the time to do the things right, you should give it a chance. There's this myth about American flour that's why you can digest the pizza because you're using Italian flour. No, in Italy you can find some flour that are not that great too. It's all over the place. I think if you go and meet people and take time to meet people that are doing the things the right way, it doesn't matter where you produce. The important thing that is produced with care and love. That's all I care. And the flour that I do mostly is fermented for 2 days because I want actually the maturation,
Yes.
as I call it, to happen outside your stomach. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of people makes. Starch and sugar are not decomposed from
Yeah.
complex to
And the
simple.
fermentation helps to break it down for you, pre-digest it for you.
There's a lot of people that makes dough in 5 hours. They put like an S load of yeast, and
Yeah.
then you feel like you're burping all the time. You need to drink several gallons of water to get rid of the taste because you feel thirsty. And that's not the right way to make pizza. The right way to make pizza is properly ferment, having the numbers of your flour, of course, amount of protein that you have, calculating, and say, okay, I will need 16 hours to properly ferment this dough. I will need 2 days to properly ferment this dough. It depends on what you put in your dough,
Yes.
of course.
And then from that dough, how many different types of pizzas do you make? Are there like how many on the menu? And are you also doing like seasonal,
I think
additions?
on the menu we have from 15 to 17 pies, if I don't get wrong.
15 to 17 options.
If I don't get wrong, because I'm not good at counting, but I think more 15 than 17. Because I'm counting specials too. Yeah,
Yeah.
we do a couple of special every month. They change depending on what's available at the farmers market.
And And anything else on the menu besides the pizzas?
Well, we wanted to marry. Pizzana was born because we wanted to marry Southern Italian and Southern California. So we are heavily using a lot of vegetables that come from the farmers market. So we have broccolini, artichokes, cauliflowers, and seasonal salads that change. Lettuce depends what's available out there.
That's awesome. It sounds like where the Amalfi Coast meets the Pacific Coast.
Yes, that's basically what we wanted to try to do, and
That's awesome.
hopefully we're doing that.
Well, it sounds like it, and I appreciate it because in a sense you're carving out your own unique style. You're not just saying, okay, we're doing a traditional Neapolitan, we're VPN, we're this or that. You have your own signature.
I like to call it freedom of cooking.
Yeah, which I think everybody would love to get to, but not everybody has either the background or the courage to jump into it.
I think a good thing to do is to learn the basic, like every cuisine, right? You go to culinary school to learn all the base. And then with pizza, you do the same. You go to VPN to learn Neapolitan pizza, and then from that, you go and learn bread making, and you understand that pizza is just another branch of bread making.
It's like bread with something on it.
And then if you want to keep doing Neapolitan pizza and reach excellences in Neapolitan pizza, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But if you want to tell your own story, you can do it with a piece of flour and water and bread.
That's interesting because that defines a lot of way. Different people can choose different paths, and some people are artists in their own right, and they don't want to walk the same path as they want to walk their own path.
Of course.
And find their own way, and it sounds like that's what you're doing. Which is the more artistic or artisan path.
I mean, I like it to call like that. I did it because that's the only thing I knew how to do. And hopefully I'm making my auntie proud in
that's
back
it.
in
It's nice when it works out that you get to do what you like to do. Other people like it, and your aunt likes it as well. When that all comes together, then you can get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I mean, not lately because we're expanding a lot. So, but I feel very privileged, and I feel blessed because to have the love of people in Los Angeles and Dallas too. Supporting the business. We went through a pandemic. Let's not forget that. When we went through that, we tried to retain as much staff as possible, and people kept ordering from us and supporting us. So, that is to take into account. So, business, you can be the best chef in the world, but if you don't do this business to make people happy, why are you doing it?
Well, that's great to hear. Well, before we run out of time, let me ask you, but back to Best in Dough. So you had a first season. It's on Hulu. For those who haven't seen it, it's really fun to watch. It's kind of a competition show.
Yeah.
And every week it's 3 different people competing out of different aspects of the pizza community, from grandmothers to social media experts who are not operators to champion pizza makers.
Yeah.
Will there be a season 2? Because you could blow through those 10 episodes or whatever it is in a couple days.
You can binge watch very fast. I'm hopeful that a season 2 will come. Let's take the finger crossed with the networks. You never know. But, people seem to love it, and I have a great feedbacks from them. And if you guys want to watch it 2 or 3 times, just go ahead. So it will help it. It will help us. And yes, there is an episode where I eat pineapple on a pizza, so you should watch that, and you should see the reaction.
I know that's always a controversial area. Well, if you do get a season 2, I would love to be considered as a judge. I don't want to compete. Those guys work too hard competing.
Deal. Come along with me, Peter.
All right. I would look forward to that. Daniele, thank you so much for being on Pizza Quest today, and thank all of you who are listening for joining us today. We're at Pizza Expo. You're going to be at the Los Angeles Pizza Festival in about 3 weeks, I think, mid-April. So people can see you have a panel going on there. Again, it's a dough panel, right? It's going to be the dough Whispers. I love the name, Dough Whispers. That's great. So that's going to be a fabulous event for anybody in the Los Angeles area. So if you get a chance, and if you heard this show, introduce yourself to Daniele and tell him that you heard him here. And I will look forward to getting out to Paisana and as soon as I can get to LA.
Anytime you want. And thank you so much for having me. And beautiful people, please keep eating pizza because it's healthy for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week on the next episode of Pizza Quest.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Pizza Quest. A number of the conversations you will hear this season were recorded over a 2-day period during the 2023 International Pizza Expo held in Las Vegas, Nevada. These recordings would not have been possible without the help of many people and our generous underwriters, but I'd like to take a moment now to especially thank some of the unsung heroes. My Pizza Quest partners, Jeff Michael and Brad English, our HRN recording producer, Liam Werner, as well as HRN's Matt Patterson and Joanna Garnett-Reipold, and also Alexander Mortati of Orlando Foods, who organized and coordinated the schedules of many of our guests to get them to our recording table throughout the expo. Thank you to all of you. Pizza Quest is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.